Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. This morning I'm looking at a book which has come to us from the Child Poverty Action Group. It's one of their handbooks in an excellent series that they produce for us as advisors, lawyers and people of course who are claiming any form of benefit and need to know how to go about it. This particular book, which is here, is the Welfare Benefits and Tax Credits Handbook for 2016 to 2017. It's now in an 18th edition, and I'll show you the people who have actually written it in a moment and show you the book. Now, my wife Elizabeth and I have written a review of this work, and we've given it the title, Another Excellent Child Poverty Action Group Welfare Law Handbook, specifically designed for practitioners, advisors and applicants in person. And that's exactly what the book is. Here it is, a purple cover. See the front of it there. There is the spine. It's a heavy book, and that's the detail on the back with some quotes and some information about what's in it. You've also got some shaded areas which make it easier to find the relevant chapters. For instance, that's part 5, chapter 30. Now, let's just start at the beginning of the book and I'll show you the front page. There it is there. Then after the front page, we have the list of people involved. A large number of people involved, so I'm not going to go through them by name because there's just too many. But thank you to all of them very much for the work you do. There's some acknowledgements and then there's a foreword, which is a really well worthwhile exercise to read because it sets the scene on where we are at the moment with welfare benefits. That's page 2. Then you've got the structure of the book there, the contents. It's split into parts with an introduction at the beginning, and then it's got various chapters. Chapter 1 is very important, and I'll show you that first of all because it says how to use the book and exactly how you go about using it, because it is important to know actually how to use the handbook itself. There we go. So do read that right at the beginning before you do anything else. You'll see the parts are structured there. I'm not going to go again into a lot of detail at this stage, but you can see the various parts, and they have a shaded areas at the side of the book so you can find them very quickly. And then right at the back you have 13 appendices which you can see listed there, which are right at the back of the book itself. And again, these are useful addresses and a whole range of pieces of information. There is a detailed index which I found very helpful, which is at the back of the handbook. And then the body copy, if you like, of the handbook does in fact give a very large amount of information. Just looking at the moment at general rules for mean tested benefits, and there's a very large amount of reference material to specific rules and acts of parliament, and you will find at the back of the chapters a series of notes which gives you much more detail concerning the relevant act and the relevant regulations, and sometimes there's a little bit of case law. Now at the front of the book, of course, before you get into the chapters itself, you've got the basic abbreviations. A lot of abbreviations in this area, so it's well worth looking at. Then you've got means attested benefit rates, which are very important again. You can see those listed there. And then non-means tested benefits are then covered. And then after that, you've got the tax credit rates there. So that's basically the book. It runs to something approaching 1,600 odd pages. That's the back again. It's an excellent book. It's quite heavy. It is a paperback, and you should find it in your local library and Citizens Advice Bureau and so forth. Now, this is what we say about the book. The biggest problem today facing advisors is the sheer bulk of the detailed information which we need in an attempt to understand the complex rules. We all know that the legal fiction of ignorance of the law is no excuse is always pulled out by the powers that be in order to defeat the less informed. Unfortunately, in an ever more complex society which we live in, the legal rules have to be known and understood. And that's exactly what the Child Poverty Action Group gives us here, and in fact with the range of publications that they give. And they are at a reasonable price. They're not expensive publications like some of the other books that we use and look at. The Child Poverty Action Group's Welfare Benefits and Tax Credits Handbook for the years 2016 to 17 is now in what is called the 18th edition and is recognised as the Advisor's Bible, as a comprehensive guide to all benefits and tax credits. Users will find it an essential, easy-to-use resource for all professional advisors, offering the best and most accurate advice to clients, and we certainly agree with that. The handbook holds detailed information on all recent changes to the welfare benefits system, including the latest on the rollout of universal credit, which is relatively new for some, and the sanctions regime which is attached. It also offers tactical information on common problems which arise and advice on how to challenge decisions, which we found one of the most popular and useful areas for advisors. So what does the handbook cover? The detail is set out, and let me just explain it. The 2016 to 17 edition includes new and updated information in the following areas: who can claim benefits and tax credits, the introduction and implementation of universal credit, disability and incapacity benefits, and the work capability assessment for employment and support allowance. They deal with benefit sanctions, challenging decisions, backdating, overpayments, income and capital, and national insurance provisions, and the new state pension. So it's as up to date as it can be at the present time, and I'm recording this in the middle of the year in 2016. Advisors will find the handbook, we think, fully indexed for their needs, and actually it's very easy to use, with splendid cross-referencing to both law, that's case law of course and statutes, regulations, official guidance, plus the court, upper tribunal and commissioners' decisions. And of course the Child Poverty Action Group produces the handbook in print form and online, and they have bi-monthly updates published in their Welfare Rights Bulletin, which is worth reading, and the online version is updated of course throughout the year. We are very much moving towards online facilities, but the paper record is well worth having obviously as well, because not a lot of people, not everybody has access regularly to the internet. So who can use the handbook? We feel it's essential as a resource for welfare rights advisors, lawyers, local authority staff, social workers, union officials and claimants themselves or applicants, and they should be available in all public libraries, council offices and advice centres. I say that they should be available, hopefully they are. Now Alison Garnham, who's the head of CPAG, writes in the foreword that there is no point in pretending that low-income families and those campaigning for improvements for their well-being are not facing unprecedented challenges at present. She goes on to say that CPAG remains adamant that while poverty in the United Kingdom today is as real as ever, it does not have to be this way. And she continues saying that every child deserves a fair chance in life, stating that is why it is right for the government to look at educational attainment, health and other indicators of disadvantage. And that, I think, is a very fair statement to put forward. It gives an indication very clearly of the main aspirations and mission statement of CPAG. She goes on to say that, however, the fact remains money matters to families and children, which, although a statement of the obvious, is why this handbook is worth its weight in gold for the advisor and the claimant. And as Alison concludes, CPAG will be there, as we have been for half a century, to make sure these families are not forgotten. They haven't, and we remain deeply grateful to CPAG for the way they continue to embrace the challenges in welfare law, which we all face. And I say that as an advisor as well as a lawyer. Now, the law covered in this book is correct as at the 7th of March 2016, and it includes regulations laid up to that date. Let's just have another quick look at the end of the review. There's the book again, there's the spine, and then there's the back. And you can see, as I say, the shaded areas at the side will give you some idea of what to look for, depending on where you're specifically going. Getting paid, for instance, very important area there. As I say, just to repeat, the index at the back is extremely helpful. So you should be able to find things pretty quickly. These are some of the appendices. You can see quite a lot of detail. It's very much a hands-on book. And just to conclude, I'm very grateful to everybody at CPAG for continuing to produce such excellent work for all of us. It makes our lives a great deal easier. So thank you very much indeed. Bye-bye.